Here in this video we will know about prism, its different parts, different uses of a prism, and also refraction through prism. Prism is a wave-shaped refracting material. Basically it is made up of glass. Here the two faces inclined to each other at certain angle are called the refracting faces of a prism. See, these two are the actual shape of a prism or actual picture of a prism. Now see, these two faces which are inclined to each other at certain angle are called the refracting faces of the prism, and the angle included between these two faces is called the angle of prism. This angle which is included between the two refracting faces of a prism is called the angle of prism, and the line along which the two faces meet, these two refracting faces meet along this line, so this line is called the refracting edge of a prism, and the plane opposite to the refracting edge is called the base of the prism. See, this plane is called the base of the prism. Now when you draw the ray diagram, we will use a principal section of a prism. This is the principal section of prism or outline of prism, because if we take the complete shape of the prism, then the diagram will be little complicated to understand the process of refraction, reflection, or any optical phenomenon. So actually prism is used for reflecting light, even it is used for the refraction, polarization, but its main purpose, or it is mostly known about its dispersive property, that when a white light passes through a prism, it split it into its 7 different colors. Okay. So this is the dispersive property of prism. So different optical phenomenon can be studied using the prism, but this dispersion phenomenon or dispersive property is the speciality of a prism. When a white light passes through a prism, it split it into its 7 different colors or constituent spectral colors. So for the ray diagram purpose, we will use this outline of the prism or principal section of the prism. Now let us know more about the refraction through prism. So this is the ray diagram for the refraction through prism. See, here we have taken an outline of the prism, that is ABC is the outline or principal section of a prism. Here EF is the incident ray and GH is the emergent ray. The ray entering the prism is called the incident ray. This is the incident ray, and the ray coming out from the prism is called the emergent ray. This ray EF will suffer two refractions at the two different faces of the prism, at the face AB and also at the face AC. See, when the ray incident upon the prism at the face AB at the point F, we will draw a normal to the face AB at the point F. So N1 N is the normal to the face AB at the point of incidence F. Now we know that basically the outer medium is the air. So this is the air medium having refractive index 1. So outer medium is the air medium, and here this medium is suppose it is generally a glass medium, but we will write its a refractive index mu2 is equal to mu. We know that refractive index of air is less than any other medium. So now the light is traveling from optically rarer medium to the optically denser medium. So it will bend towards the normal. See, it would be the path of the incident ray, that is EDK would be the path of incident ray, but due to the refraction at the face AB, it will bend towards the normal. So here FG is the refracted ray, and here I is the angle of incidence for the refraction at this first phase, and R1 is the angle of refraction for the refraction at this phase AB. Now this ray FG will go straight, but at the phase AC it again suffer another refraction. So for the phase AC, FG is the incident ray. Now here the light is traveling from optically denser to the optically rarer medium, so it will bend away from the normal. Here G is the point of incidence at the phase AC. Now at this point of incidence we will draw a normal, so N2 is the normal. Now R2 is the angle of incidence in this case. Now in this absence of this refraction, the light would travel along this path, but due to the refraction at this phase AC, it will bend away from the normal. Now GH is the refracted ray for the refraction at the phase AC. So now see, this refracted ray is also called the emergent ray because it is coming out from the prism. Now see, here the angle between the direction of the incident ray, the direction of the incident ray is EDK, and the emergent ray, that is GH, is called the angle of deviation. So this angle is called the angle of deviation. This is the angle between the direction of incident ray and the emergent ray. So this is all about the ray diagram for the refraction through a prism. Now let us start the derivation. So this is the same diagram. Here I is the I, that is equal to our N1 F E is the angle of incidence, E, that is N2 GH, N2 GH is the angle of emergent. This is the angle of refraction for the refraction at second phase. Now R1 is the angle of refraction, that R1 is the GFN, that is the angle GFN is the angle of refraction for refraction at phase A. Phase AB. Similarly, R2 is the angle of incidence, that is R2 is FGN angle. It is the angle of incidence for refraction at face AC, and D is the angle of deviation. Most of the time it is come in a as a 1 mark question. What is angle of deviation? So here angle of deviation is KDH angle, and it is known as the angle of deviation. It is the angle between the incident ray and the direction of incident ray and emergent ray. Now let us start the derivation. See, here in this quadrilateral AFNG, in the quadrilateral, we know that sum of the all the 4 angles is equal to 360 degree. That is, this angle here A is the angle of A, which is here the angle BAC is the angle of prism. Here we will establish a relation between the angle of incidence, angle of emergence, angle of prism and angle of deviation. So see, here in the quadrilateral AFNG, we know that sum of all the 4 angles is equal to 360 degree. That is, FAG angle, that is BAC angle, plus FNG angle plus AFN angle plus AGN angle is equal to 360 degree. But here AFN angle and AGN angle are 90 degrees, are in as N1N and N2N are normal to the face AB and AC. So, but angle AFN is equal to angle AGN is equal to 90 degree. So this implies angle FAG plus angle FNG is equal to 180 degree. As these 2 angles are 90 degree and 90 degree, so sum of these 2 angles will be 180 degree. So sum of these 2 angles will also be 180 degree. Okay, so write this as equation number 1. Now again in the triangle FGN, in the triangle FGN, again sum of the 3 angles will be 180 degree. That is, angle GFN plus angle FGN plus angle FNG is equal to 180 degree. That is, we know that GFN angle is R1 plus FGN angle is R2 plus FNG is equal to 180 degree. So write this as equation number 2. Now from equation 1 and 2, both the right side of both the equation 1 and 2 are equal. So equating equation 1 and 2, equations 1 and 2, we will get angle FAG plus angle FNG is equal to R1 plus R2 plus FNG. Again see here FAG angle is the angle A or angle of prism. So A is equal to, because these two are same, so A is equal to R1 plus R2. So this is the equation number 3. Now see here again in the triangle DFG, D is the small d is the external angle, and that I minus R1 and E minus R2 are the internal angles. So let us write it that in the triangle, again for triangle DFG, we know that sum of the two internal angles, that is DFG plus DGF is equal to the external angle, which is KDG. So KDG angle is the angle of deviation, and let us see what is the value of DFG and DGF. So again the angle DFN, see this is the row of work, angle DFG is equal to angle DFN minus angle GFN. No? But angle DFN is equal to angle N1 FE. These two are the alternate angles, so these two are equal. So this implies angle DFG is equal to DFN is I minus GFN is R1. Similarly, we can check that angle DGF is equal to the angle of emergence E minus R2. So let us write these two values here. So this implies DFG is equal to I minus R1 plus DGF is equal to E minus R2. This is equal to KDG, that is the angle of deviation D. So this implies I plus E minus R1 plus R2 is equal to D. But R1 plus R2 is equal to the angle of prism from equation number 3. This implies I plus E is equal to A plus D, because R1 plus R2 is equal to A, that is I plus E minus A is equal to D. So I plus E is equal to A plus D. So this is the relation between angle of incidence, angle of emergence, angle of deviation and angle of the prism. So this is the equation number 4. So angle of incidence plus angle of emergence is equal to angle of prism plus angle of deviation. From this we can conclude that angle of deviation depends upon angle of incidence, the material of the prism, the wavelength of light used and the angle of prism. So